The first thing you need to do when you embark on your journey of applying the recipe for happiness is to think of how you're going to record the steps every day. You can do it old school, like you can buy yourself a journal and start writing in it. And personally, this is my preferred method, but it's also totally okay to use an app on your phone if that's what works for you. It's kind of crazy to think that there could actually be a recipe for happiness. When I was training to be a psychologist, the whole idea of happiness was not really addressed. You know, psychologists are taught how to identify and classify all kinds of disease, distress, disorder, and dysfunction. We are taught how to reduce symptoms and how to intervene to help people to become more authentic, more comfortable, more accepting. But happiness is not really a topic that is at the top of the list of priorities to be studied, discussed, and applied. And it was only after I finished studying psychology that I got really interested in this idea that happiness is a field of study in and of itself. The recipe for happiness is based on ideas from positive psychology, which is a relatively new field in the discipline of psychology, which looks at the virtues and strengths of an individual and of a community and of a culture, of a country, rather than identifying, examining, and attempting to fix, the weaknesses and problems of that person or community or society. The recipe for happiness is just 5 things that you can do on a daily basis for a minimum of 21 days to reset your brain towards positivity. Can it really be that simple? I think that the only way that you can possibly know if the recipe for happiness could work for you is to give it a try. It's 5 things that you do on a daily basis for 21 days. The first thing is you keep a gratitude journal, and every day you write in the journal 3 new things that you're grateful for. You also journal about 1 new experience. It has to be a positive experience, and the experience has to have happened within the last 24 hours. The third thing is get some exercise. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of exercise, but you should get moving in some way. The fourth thing is to meditate. Research shows that even 1 minute of meditation can make a big difference. Find the sweet spot for you and give it a try. The last thing that you need to do as part of the recipe for happiness is to practice 1 random act of kindness in your day and write it down in your happiness journal. It's not too difficult, right? 3 things to be grateful for, 3 new things every day, 1 positive experience in 24 hours, get some exercise, do some meditation, and practice 1 act of random kindness. Do something kind for someone else. I don't see how it could possibly hurt, and it might help a lot. You also need to do this for 21 days because it takes 21 days to build the foundations of a new habit. And I challenge you, booby, give it a try. I want to break down a little bit why I think, as a clinical psychologist, that the recipe for happiness has quite a bit to it, and why I think it would work. Firstly, the act of writing down 3 new things to be grateful for trains your brain to start scanning your environment for things that you're lucky to have. It trains you to count your blessings, and that is obviously going to improve your mindset and your overall well-being. The second part is to journal about 1 positive experience that you've had in the last 24 hours. Why I think this is super helpful is because writing things down, good morning, why I think this one is super helpful is because writing things down and reflecting upon them in order to write them down really cements them in your mind it makes them memorable. And journaling about a positive experience actually helps you to relive that experience. You know, we tend to reflect mostly on our negative experiences. So journaling about a positive experience helps to shift your brain towards a more positive mindset. The third thing of the recipe for happiness is to get some exercise. You know, exercise is important on so many levels. I don't need to go on about the benefits for your physical and mental health, your well-being, sleeping better, less stress, all that stuff. But what exercising consistently on a daily basis also teaches you is that what you do matters, and that taking actions can shift your mindset. I don't think it matters what kind of exercise you do. I really don't. I don't even think it matters for how long you exercise. I tend to recommend walking for at least half an hour, and that can be 3 10-minute walks a day. But if that feels too much, that's completely fine. Do it for 5 minutes a day. The point is to get outside and get moving. Studies show that incorporating exercise into your life is as effective as taking a mild dose of antidepressants for treating depression. So when it's hard to put on your sneakers and walk out the door, tell yourself that it's medicine. The fourth ingredient in the recipe for happiness is meditate. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of meditation. You know, people are always talking about one kind of meditation or another one. There's breathing, there's the body scan, there's mindfulness, there's the prana techniques, there's box breathing, there's the one mindful breath, there's the mindful minute, there's the 5 senses exercise. These are all things that you can actually find out about in our blog, but are also readily available on Google. These are all different kinds of meditation, and the point of them is to bring you into the present moment of awareness. It doesn't matter which one you choose, and it doesn't matter how long you do it for. Even 1 minute of meditation a day has proven benefits for mental health. And you know, it doesn't matter whether you meditate for 1 minute or for 1 hour. The point is that you are doing it. The last ingredient in this recipe for happiness is to perform a random act of kindness. This is something that I've written about quite a bit, and it's something that I've thought about a lot because it has magical effects, not only on you, not only on the person that you help, but even on the people witnessing your act of kindness. It makes a difference to them. Cultivating a kindness culture has been shown to improve productivity and even profit, the bottom line. But those are the kind of far-off benefits. In the here and now, practicing one act of random kindness every day and writing it down in your happiness journal makes for a practice that has instant beneficial effects on your health and overall well-being. It's good for you physically. Apparently, the good hormone, oxytocin, is released into your body when you do something kind for another person. And your stress hormone, cortisol, is decreased. That is an instantaneous, helpful effect on your well-being. Practicing kindness is well documented to be super helpful and a big contributing factor to your personal overall happiness. Having a recipe for happiness doesn't in any way detract from my understanding that life is tough and that there are many aspects that may seem almost unbearable. If you're going through a hard time and a recipe for happiness seems incredibly far away from you, then that's okay. You should take yourself seriously and reach out for help, whether it's speaking to a therapist, speaking to a doctor, but looking at ways in which you're able to consider applying a recipe for happiness. The recipe for happiness is really simple, and it's actually not going to take more than a few minutes out of your day to do it. Well, unless you count the exercise, in which case it's going to take a few minutes more. But it is really easy to incorporate it into your life. Yet each of the elements is actually evidence-based and well-researched to have proven benefits on well-being. So give it a try. Repeat it for 21 days and see what effects it has on you, booby. And I would be very, very interested to hear how it goes for you. Please do share.